Hello, everyone, and welcome to the teacher training course. I'm Professor Christopher Korten, and we are going to have an action-packed 8 weeks. And as I've just mentioned to the group before we started to record, my goal is the aim of the course is to have a really important moment or flicker of inspiration in every meeting, not just once in the course, but in every meeting. So let's hope that happens. But what we're going to do to begin with is have some introductions. I'm going to start with myself. I know a lot of you have been following me, but I've never done a teacher training course that any of you have been on. I don't think. You can correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm going to tell you about my teaching experiences because I think it provides insights into how I teach, and maybe how I teach may be differently than the ideas that I'm going to share might be a little bit different to the ones you've heard. By the way, this is a course that was designed by me based on what I think are good or solid teaching principles, but interspersed with my own experiences and ideas. As you're going to see here, they are very varied, very varied. So let's begin. My first teaching experience was in baseball. I was a pitcher, and for young people, I was a decent pitcher, and so I was asked to give pitching lessons when I was 15 and 16, which I did to a neighbor of mine. And then I was a musician, and I went on to play professionally. But I sort of improved better than everyone else in my district. So we had a district called Ralston where I was at. Didn't matter, but it comprised 7 schools. And the word sort of got out that I was this up and coming musician. And so what they did, it's really interesting. The junior high band director promoted me to a higher level orchestra, and then went around, basically solicited all the elementary schools and asked if they had trombone players that needed private lessons, and that Mr. Korten would do it. And so I remember teaching these kids. I was, again, 15, 16, 17, 18, and I was teaching music. So these are very different experiences. But what I learned early on, and I have to say I was encouraged by friends and my parents, is that I somehow had a skill to teach. Now, obviously, very unrefined. But if anyone, you all know, if you have early experiences in anything, for us, it's language. You have sort of a muscle memory for language. If you exercise when you're young, you have muscle memory. If you speak languages when you're young, you have a sort of language memory that you can easily recall and sort of get back up to speed. It's much more difficult, we know, as you get older. And I think these teaching experiences at a very young age, and I was so passionate about helping them, in very crude and rudimentary ways, I found ways and strategies to be more effective. And then when I was younger, I taught inner city troubled youth. This was a program that was free. You were just donating your time. And I did that because I felt, well, a little bit guilty, I'm not going to deny. I was teaching religion in a high school at the most prestigious and expensive school in the state. So the wealthy of that state went to that school. Some of these are very big business people today, or in fact, one's a very famous actor. And so what I did to sort of balance that is I donated time to inner city kids who had the opposite fortune or misfortune with absentee parents, drugs, alcohol, etc. In terms of, now, if we focus more on English itself, I've taught absolute beginners, so where the mother is sitting next to the daughter who's 6, and we're starting from that, and I actually followed her up for 3 years. So I'm keenly aware of the issues of a native speaker with someone who knows zero, except their name, which and then, of course, to all the way up to fluent. Now, the reason I mentioned fluent, this is going to surprise some of you, and it's been a revelation. So in Poland, where I'm a professor, I do have a few Americans on the course, and I teach writing and research ideas and presentation skills, etc. And part of that component involves grammar. And it would shock, or maybe not, if you're familiar with the state of language skills among native speakers, especially in the United States. They just don't know anything. So the non-natives were much more adept, scored much better than those native speakers. Then I'm also teaching a university course this summer, actually two, we just finished today. Two university courses, they're history courses, and I'll actually mention them in this lesson, but they're all Americans. And what I wanted to do, and they come from good private universities, they're obviously good students because they're, we're very conscientious about getting high marks on the exam. But what was very interesting is I was asking them questions I will ask advanced or advanced plus students in my courses. Do you know what this word means? Do you know what the adjectival form of this word is? I randomly sampled 10 questions, 12 questions, and I think there were one or two people that answered it correctly out of all 10. So you're talking just two people out of many, and only two questions. So I understood that the gap is quickly closing in the English world between natives and non-natives, especially in terms of understanding the language. Obviously not in informal circumstances, but I think this is really important for you to understand that when that gap's closing, you're actually probably teaching at a much higher level than you give yourself credit for. And I've taught, in addition to individuals, which are very young, I've taught, done some junior high teaching, and high school, as I mentioned before, university, both public and private language. So public schools, private language schools. So I've had a lot of different experiences in a lot of different countries. And so I think this is going to lend itself well to all of you, and we're going to hear from you in just a minute. But I think these experiences, you will see them come to the fore at one point or another during this class. And I try to draw on all of it. Now, I've also done some teacher training. This is not the first one, but it's the first one where I've sort of curated the course. So I'm currently doing I sort of work with owners of schools, and I do some training with teachers. I have a long-standing client in Kazakhstan, for example. It's been a few years. And university students who are training to be teachers, I've done a lot of work there. And I've done some university faculty and staff. So a year and a half ago, I was in Kazakhstan at the National University, Al-Farabi, and I gave teaching seminars to the faculty, to the staff. And I'm going to the Kyrgyz National University in Bishkek in September to offer a few days of seminars to their faculty. And that will be part of an ongoing relationship. And there are I've done others, but these are more formal in that contracts between universities and people have been signed. So lots of work at lots of different levels. And I hope to bring all of that to bear on our meetings.